Hello. I'm in between meetings. I got one finishing up, and then I got another one starting at 8. So I stepped out to my car so I could have some peace and quiet to talk with you about men and about women and the way God made us. So, where were we? Yes, verse 24 of Genesis chapter 2. Therefore, a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. They were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed. Oh, I don't even know if I want to do verse 25. Well, good morning, everybody. And hey, we already got 6 people watching. That's like a record for Saturdays. Usually you guys are already sleepy on Saturdays. All right, so I'm going to focus on verse 24, and we might have to go to verse 25 later. But verse 24 says, therefore a man shall leave his father and mother. Sadly today, too many boys are leaving their father and mother, and not men. You know, in the Bible, now this is not necessarily a difference between men and women, but it's another equally important one, which is boys and girls and men and women. You see, in the Bible, there's no such thing as adolescence. There's no such thing as a middle stage. Middle stage. Got a steering wheel here in my way. There is children, and there are adults. And today, people don't know exactly what that means. What does that look like? When does a boy become a man? What does a man look like? And what are his responsibilities? And that's something that we need to understand, and we need to teach our children that there's a point where you become a man. Now, with the Jewish boys, they became a man at their bar mitzvah. Bar means son of, and they're the son of the law, son of the study. They're becoming a son of the scriptures, and that's the idea, is that they became a man at that point, that they actually left their father and they became under God. Yeah, we're not going to make it very far today. Maybe not even gender roles. I'll have to do gender roles tomorrow or Monday. So here's the thing. I'm not even going to get to the second half of this verse. Boys to men, girls to women. Now in this, there's something very important to understand, is that we as parents are commissioned to turn our children into adults. Yeah, like you and me, but hopefully better, right? And here's the catch. Bar mitzvah. The idea is you're no longer a son of Rick or a son of David or a daughter of Arla, right? The son of Diane. The idea is that our children, at one point, we're going to hand them over from our care into his care. Now, yes, I might have a baby dedication this coming Sunday. I'm so excited. But now, we obviously dedicate our kids to the Lord from the very beginning. But they're our kids, and under our care, our responsibility. We're commanded by God to train up a child in the way that he should go, so that when he is old, he will not depart from it. Here's the funny thing. Our training our children, biblical discipline and chastisement, all of that, some people say it's not working. Guess what? It actually isn't promised in the Bible to work. Like, you might have to discipline your kid again and again and again for the same thing, and he doesn't change. You're like, what gives? I thought the Bible said I'm supposed to chastise my child, so that'll be good. No, what it is, you chastise your child faithfully, consistently, and biblically. Because when you hand them over to God, when the child becomes a man, he'll know that God is going to faithfully and biblically chastise him. And they'll be like, what gives? God parents me the same way my parents parented me. That's the whole goal. As we teach our children, as little kids, we're called to teach them to obey. And that's all that matters. I'm going to remind again, a lot of you are watching, your kids are already out of the house. Few of you have got some young ones, but little kids, all they need to know how to do is obey. That's it. Don't tell them why. In fact, you're actually stumbling your children, the little toddlers, if you try and explain why. Because you'll put it into their head that it's all based on logic, and therefore if I can come up with a better logical reason, well then maybe my reason's better. No. Just train your kids to say yes, Mom, yes, Dad, and obey just because you told them to. Why? Here's why. Because your purpose as a parent is to hand them over to God. Tell me right now, do you always understand why God tells you to do things the way the Bible says to do them? Isn't it sometimes confusing? Isn't it like forcing us to live by faith, where I don't get how this is going to work, God, but your word says, therefore I will. We are trying to train our children to understand that from childhood. I don't get why, and it doesn't even matter why. But if Dad says, I have to. Later in life, we can teach them why, right before adulthood. But for now, you are just trying to teach your children obey for the sake of obedience. And I'll figure out why later. Wouldn't it be awesome if you guys knew that before we became adults and had to figure it out the hard way? So that's the thing is we need to train our children up to go from boys to men. That's our goal. That when our children leave our homes, we're going to take them out of our care, put them under His care, and for however long we had them, we were modeling the kind of care that they're going to be under once they're under God's care. That they learn to obey me so that they'll learn to obey Him. They'll learn that I'm faithful with consequences because He is faithful with consequences. And so that's the idea of a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife. Same with a girl. You want to make a woman out of her. You don't want to send off these people these days who are just a bunch of kids. And y'all know some 30-year-old kids out there. And it's sad. So we got through half of verse 24 today. The second half is super important, and so I'll save that for Monday. God bless you guys. Pass this on to people with kids so that they can turn them into adults. All right? Love you all. Take care. If you have parenting questions, send me a message. I'm not all that great at doing it, but I know it all, right? I mean, it's great. Like, I know it. It's just the doing it part that's really hard. And so I try my best. I really do. Love my kids. They're amazing. All 6 of them. Well, one's almost here. Love you guys. See you tomorrow at church or Monday online.